Yo, there we go. Hello, hello. Huh. Happy Sunday, y'all. Hey, Allison. How goes it, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Sorry, I'm just adjusting things on my screen here. Making sure my notes are all set up. How are you guys doing? I am doing okay. Slightly flustered. Slightly unorganized, but what else is new? But now I'm prepared. Oh, man. Hey, Aaron. Oh, I forgot to type in one more thing in here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Don't want to go to work tomorrow. Amen, sis. I don't either. But, I gotta. Oh, man. Hey, Laura. Good to see you. All right. All right. I was going to type something in my notes somewhere, but I can't. So I'll just try to remember it for later. Yeah, I seen the Beyond the Gate trailer, Kaiwan. I'm really intrigued to watch it. It airs next month. I forget the exact date. If you guys know, let me know. But I'm totally gonna watch at least the first episode, and let y'all know what I think about it. Cause again, it's like when are we ever gonna get like a new soap again? You know what I mean? How's everyone doing? Doing all right. Doing all right. It was a pretty chill Sunday. Took the doggo to the doggy park. There was a dog that looked like my first dog, George. And our dog, Toffee, was interacting with it. And I felt, very emotional because it was at the same dog park that we took him to before. So that was like a bit surreal. But, then we took her through the car wash just to watch her get excited. What channel is it on? I think is it CBS, you guys? Or is it NBC? 24th of next month. I think it's CBS. Let me know if that's correct too. We'll see. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to the General Hospital After Show. I am your host, Dion Gabriel, and there's a lot to get into today. So let's do it. Yeah, I love dogs too, Allison. CBS, all right. All right, so let's just dive into things because there's a lot to talk about. At the end of last week, Willow, Sunny, and Carly, they made the choice to wake Michael up from his medically induced coma so he could be the one to make the decision on to where he will go to recover from his burns. And, it was either between a place here in Port Charles or there in Port Charles, or in Germany, the specialty place that Carly got recommended by Jack. Needless to say, Michael chose Germany, but he asks Carly for a favor through the sheer pain that he was feeling. He asked her to call Sasha for him. And Carly was confused, but she did it anyway. Unfortunately, during that time, Willow went into the room to talk to Michael, likely to confirm that Carly wasn't really lying about what Michael's answer was, but also to clear her conscience and say that she's sorry for sleeping with his uncle. Coincidentally or not, Michael ends up in so much pain that they had to put him back into the coma before Sasha could get to the hospital. I'm guessing he probably just wanted her to find out from him that he's leaving the country instead of from someone else. For storyline purposes, it's probably to get the wheels turning in everyone's heads when Sasha starts showing signs that she's pregnant. At least a little bit. I think Jason's going to be the first one to figure it out because he already knows that they slept together. No one else does yet. But we'll see. Super Bowl bound again. Is it that time again? I don't pay attention to sports, y'all. Is the Super Bowl coming up? Who's doing it? Who's doing the Super Bowl, like the halftime show? Do we know yet? That's the only thing I watch for, honestly. Let me know. But yeah, anyway, so thanks to Jack Brennan, he gets the VIP treatment all the way to Germany, a comfortable private jet for Michael and Carly with a nurse straight to Germany. And if you thought that meant that we were getting a break from Carly, you're wrong. We see her in Germany, and she's just straight up not having a good time. They won't let her see Michael for whatever reason. Luckily, Jack just so happened to have some business. Hey, Angel, by the way. So yeah, coincidentally, Jack just so happened to have some business in Germany or near it and decided to check in on her. Carly opens up about the guilt that she feels about allowing Sonny to be a part of Michael's life because she knows that that's what led him to the situation that he's in currently. It's not even the first time he's ended up in a dire situation because of Sonny. As you guys know, he was shot in the head as a kid and ended up in a coma for a whole year because of it, and aged to like high school age when he woke up. What I did like about the scene though is that Jack actually opened up to Carly about his own loss. He talked about some mission where he lost one of his best friends. And yeah, he actually got choked up and started to cry. And I really enjoyed those scenes because this is really the first time we've gotten to see Jack be something other than charming. Like, he actually showed signs of emotions. Do you guys think that Jack truly has a hidden agenda with Carly like everyone else thinks? I mean, Sonny thinks so, Jason thinks so. Jason's like never wrong either, just based on every writing team that's worked with the character. Jason Morgan's never been wrong about anything. If he's wrong about this, I'll be shocked. But what do you guys think? Allison, you said I like those scenes too. Hey, Nathan. I'm just talking to y'all about GH. How about you? Are you doing good? Did you have a good weekend? Kaiwan says, finally, Carly's not getting her way. I love the storyline. I mean, we're still so early in the story, and not that I disagree with you, Kaiwan, at all. I like when Carly doesn't get her own way as well. But it could legitimately be because he's in dire straits when it comes to his burns, and whatever sort of experiment that they're doing, it's very sensitive. But, that could be something shadier too. So we'll find out. But after Jack and her's conversation, she says that she's going to seek some answers. He offered his help, and she's like, I got this. So I like that we still see like bits and pieces of like Carly's sort of feistiness. It was interesting seeing her almost act out, throwing, like, breaking glass, and it's very classic Carly, but she chose not to. Angel said, I think Brennan truly likes Carly. I think so too. And I like Jack and Carly too, actually. Listen, I'm on the fence on whether he has a hidden agenda. I think it's possible he is in the WSB. She was married to Sonny and Jason, so whether it's using her to get a window into Sonny and Jason's world or something else, I do think that he actually does have feelings for Carly too. And it's nice to see her find a new relationship that doesn't put her back with Sonny for the 78th time. And even nicer that the show has decided not to go the route of her and Jason again, because that was just weird for me. I don't know. I like them. I think that Laura Wright and the actor that plays Jack Brennan, whose name I can't think of right now, they've got really good chemistry. So it's really working on screen for me. It's nice that there's a lot of different things that are popping up that I'm really enjoying going into 2025. Because 2024 was pretty bad. But there's a lot of good stuff this year so far. Let's see. Laura, you said I fully believe Jack's shady, but I still like the two of them. Yeah, there's definitely something that we're not knowing about him yet. Hey, de Havilland. But yeah, they do got good chemistry. All right. Anyway, though, back in Port Charles, the situation with Willow's kids wasn't any less volatile. Tracy had been arrested for kidnapping Willow's kids, courtesy of Drew, who made the arrest, or made the PCPD arrest her. And he had gone to the hospital to tell Willow about it. And this is, by the way, this is before Michael had left. So while Michael was preparing to, or basically when Michael was getting prepped to leave, that's when Drew showed up to tell her about what happened. And this dude was in her ear, trying to convince her to continue to use Michael as leverage, and constantly just making her doubt decisions she's made with the choices that she's made. I'm still waiting on when we're supposed to see Willow and Drew as this star-crossed couple the audience will fall in love with. All I see is Drew creepily trying to groom her into his personal puppet. Like, doing whatever he wants her to do, saying whatever he wants her to say. Like, he spent the whole week trying to get her to do what she wants, or what he wants her to do. But thankfully, what Chase had told her the previous week seems to be sticking with her a bit. And Nina, while being super frustrating by not telling her the truth about her and Drew sleeping together, she kept reassuring her this week as well that she's proud for her making decisions that are right for her without interference. But back to Tracy for a minute. Jane Elliott this week, y'all, was just a riot to watch. I just love that we have her, and I love that they give her comedy because she's so good at it. And Tracy was making everyone at the PCBD miserable, from Martin to Drew to Anna to Dante. Anna called Jason to ask for his assistance, and he explained to Tracy that Michael is on his way to Germany, and that he would want Willow with the kids for the kids' sake. So it's, I don't know. Basically, Tracy admits to Jason that she doesn't really have too much against Willow, apart from cheating on Michael, obviously, but her problem is with Drew. So she said that she was down for Willow to see the kids as long as it's on their property. Jason heads to the hospital after that to track down Willow and says that he thinks he's found a compromise that will work for her and the Quartermains, and that's for Willow to continue to live at the gatehouse with the kids. Willow agrees that it could work. The trick is getting Tracy to be okay with it, so Jason goes back to the PCPD to try and convince her to let Willow live in the gatehouse again with the kids. And Tracy is still on a hard no about it, because what's to stop Willow from taking the kids out of the gatehouse and leaving with them in the middle of the night? So Lulu, who had also been trying to get through to Tracy, asks for like a moment alone with her and suggested that she played the long game when it comes to the kids, since Michael would only be gone till he's healed and she won't end up going to jail for kidnapping. And then she finally agrees. Willow reunites with her kids at the gatehouse, and while she's initially happy, it doesn't mean she's not in for an awkwardly uncomfortable situation herself. since everyone in the house clearly can't stand her. Tracy makes sure she doesn't forget it as well. But Willow stands up for herself, saying she won't hesitate to reinstate the charges against her if she keeps pushing her. And that she can explain to Monica why Willow would no longer be living at the Quartermains with the kids, and that the kids are gone too. So, first of all, again, I'm loving that Monica is still a pivotal part of the story, even with the loss of Leslie Charleson. It's just, it hurts, but it also warms my heart that it really does feel like the show truly cared about Leslie Charleson and just wants her to be a part of the show as long as possible. I think it's inevitable. They're obviously going to kill the character off. They've been deteriorating Monica's health off screen this whole time and having conversations about it. And I think that when it comes to the inevitable death of the character, that we're going to get one hell of a send-off for her, as it should be. And sorry, I did a lot of talking there. What are y'all saying in the comments? But yeah, Aaron says, I love Tracy. She's so funny. Yeah, I love her. That's what DC Subsanctuary said. 90s of the show. I had to watch DC. It's been a minute. Love that guy, though. Angel says, Drew is acting like Shiloh. He really is. Aaron said, yes, Angel, I feel the same way. Drew is acting like Shiloh. Laura says, those poor kids with such shitty adult figures around them. It's true. The entire family is a hot mess, y'all. Nathan, you really think Drew is Shiloh? I don't think so. His death seemed pretty final to me. Oh, man. Willow has her own backbone. Oh, yeah. I kind of want to talk about that. So, anyway, one thing that Tracy says, which I think if Tracy says it enough times, because I think this is the second person to compare her, but Tracy was like, I think you have more of Nell in you than you seem to think. And the first time someone said it, and was it Jocelyn? I forget who said it the first time. Maybe it was Tracy again. But like the comparison to Nell really set her off the first time. She held her ground when Tracy mentioned it a second time. But like, I don't know. I think it's going to be the button that pushes her over the edge if we get to that kind of story with her. But yeah, needless to say, Tracy says she'll back off, but on the one condition that is non-negotiable. Drew cannot visit her on this property because apparently he's banned from the property. So, of course, after Tracy leaves, she talks to Nina, who witnessed their fight and questions whether she should really just take the kids so that she could be with Drew whenever she wants, which is freaking crazy. Like, surely the dick can't be that good. Surely. Thankfully, Nina convinced her to stay and to trust her original instincts. Angel says, I wish AJ was still alive. I wonder what would have been his reaction to all of this and Drew. Jason and AJ could have teamed up and beat up Drew. That would be hilarious. Laura says, exactly, Drew is officially a Quartermain. Yeah. Kaiwan, you still think they're going to bring back Nell? I mean, listen, I wouldn't hate it. I loved Chloe Lanier, and I think that she's a fantastic actress. And as much as I hated Nell, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Nell back. Just because her death was so, like, I don't know. There was a lot of plot holes in her death that could lead to her not actually being dead. But yeah, I think I wouldn't mind seeing that if they do it right. Oh, man. I wonder where that story would go, though. I mean, she could just take Wiley away. She is his biological mother. It don't take too much for Willow to fall in love with someone. It sure doesn't. Aaron says Nell is still alive. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, the death was filled with so many holes that it's definitely possible. All right, y'all. So, let's talk about Drew. Drew stays being everyone's least favorite person in Port Charles and among the majority of the audience too. This dude has the audacity to try and convince Curtis to let him back into Aurora. And Curtis put his foot down with a hard no, telling him that he wouldn't do Michael like that while he's in the hospital from the burn unit while he plays footsies with his wife. So, he asks straight up, like, what the hell happened to you, man? Like, this is not the Drew that I knew, that I knew and was friends with for years. So, I'm glad that Curtis is staying a hard no. But I do think that Drew is going to try to outmaneuver Curtis in some way. And if he does, I hope he fails miserably. It's so crazy how this is a character that I used to like. To be honest, back when Billy Miller was playing him. I didn't think it was really necessary to bring the character back. So, I don't know. Albert, he says, Drew Kane is a good man and Curtis is being petty Betty. He's not a good man, though. He's proven it. You know that, Albert. It's not just like he slept with a girl. Like, he's being shady and, like, trying to groom Willow into being his puppet. Like, that's how they're playing it on the show. It's not, like, opinion. Like, they're literally having him be like, hey, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should be doing this. And, like, trying to manipulate Willow into doing things his way. Like, it's weird. It's creepy. He's like a straight-up groomer, dude. That man is not a good man. But, yeah. All right, moving on, though. And hey, Sandy, if I didn't say it earlier. Let's talk about Lulu. Let's move away from the Quartermains. This girl has been trying to get a job. Specifically at Deception, given her connections in the company with Maxie, even though it would entail her to be Brooklyn's assistant. Maxie fully intended on turning her down, despite Lulu trying to prove herself, and Brooklyn tells her that it simply won't happen. Lulu, of course, thinks it's just out of pettiness on Brooklyn's part, but Maxie and Brooklyn, they talk about the realities of the struggles that they've faced with Deception over the years. And it actually leads to a pretty real and emotionally heavy conversation between Lulu, Maxie, and Brooklyn. A scene that I really, really liked, by the way. And they really came to an understanding about each other and where they are all at in their own lives. Brooklyn shared how seeing Lulu is a reminder of who she used to be in the past and how she's worked really hard for years to become a better person than she was back then, and that she's moved on with her life and she doesn't like someone rubbing her past in her face, which I totally get. But Lulu also opens up about, how hard it's been basically having no agency on decisions about finding her daughter and how she's struggling to trying to keep up with, like, what's happened in the last 4 years. And she knows that everyone was moving forward while she was essentially in a standstill, frozen in time. And just the qualms about, having to experience that and trying to sort of maneuver how she felt back then and what these people were like back then to what they are now. Everyone kind of has, their own demons that they faced and stuff. It's been 4 years. There's a lot that's happened. And, Maxie, she's just talking about, again, how important Deception is to her, that it's, it's her baby, and the company's been through ups and downs. She doesn't want to do anything to mess it up. And, Lulu and Brooklyn fighting could lead to a distraction that, a fragile company like Deception needs right now, or doesn't need right now. And she also doesn't want to be in a position where she has to take sides between Brooklyn and Lulu. She loves them both. And Lulu was about to agree that she'll find work elsewhere, but then Tracy shows up and she's like, no, nonsense, you're hired. And I don't think that Brooklyn loved that, even though I feel like they were definitely finding some common ground. It's just that the decision was essentially taken out of her hands. I think that Brooklyn would have hired her though, if Tracy didn't step in. Now, I do think that they'll get along for the time being, at least until Lulu inevitably ends up being the first person to find out that she had Dante's baby a couple of decades ago, and that Dante doesn't know, and then it's it's all over. Sorry, let me go. Albert, you said, okay, I know I'm the only YouTuber creator that's defending Drew Kane. Is interesting. How does it feel to be the only one that's wrong? Albert. Oh my god. No, I'm kidding, man. I don't know. To me, it looks like they're playing this as Drew's a bit of a creep. Like, it's not like, it doesn't feel like it's up to our interpretation. It truly feels like they're purposely making him slimy. I don't know. And like, literally everyone sees him like that on the show. Like, not every character can be wrong. And if they're not supposed to be playing it that way, then Cameron Matheson is doing a horrible job at selling it as some kind of like star-crossed romance that we're supposed to believe is going to be fun. Angel, you said the Drew character was gone when Billy left the role. Cameron doesn't understand all the hate. Well, Cameron's a bit distracted right now, you know? He's having a rough go in real life right now. 2 times the salary of the last assistant. I forgot about that line, Angel. Sandy says, I agree with Maxie. Lulu is trouble. She is. De Havilland, you said Drew is a control freak. He seems to be. Angela says, Lulu got to learn to be professional. Yeah, she really does. Let's hope she learns that. Laura says, Lulu isn't going to do this job right. She's going to get some wild hint that Charlotte is somewhere and abandon the job. That's true. I can see that happening. Tracy will keep her because she's family. That's also true. Aaron says, Drew is slimy. It's gross. Willow Project Drew. Okay, keep politics out of this, Kaiwan. Seriously. My God, you can't help yourself, dude. Oh, man. All right. Sandy says, Drew is a low-down, dirty dog. De Havilland says, Charlotte wants to stay with her father, Valentine. I can't wait for Lulu to find out about that. I mean, I feel like she's got to know that. She kind of admitted it when they met up, too. Like, she doesn't want to leave her dad. And I think she said as much to Lulu before all hell broke loose. Oh, man. I love you too, man. Do you see tomorrow's scenes? Drew said they aren't going to keep him away from Willow. I didn't see those scenes, but you see? Oh, man. I just don't get how Willow can't see it. You'd think after her situation with Shiloh, she would have learned to, like, tell some red flagged signs. Like, girl, even your hot mess of a mother can see that he's not the man that he was portraying himself to be. All right. Let's move on though. Let's talk a little bit about Jocelyn. We need to talk about Jocelyn because this girl, I swear, she thinks she's as resourceful as Carly, but she's a chaotic mess. And so basically Lucas had reluctantly filled her in on Lucky and Elizabeth, thinking that Cyrus might be murdering patients in the hospital. And by the next day, she's roaming around the hospital like she owns the place, like Nancy Drew looking for information. And it leads her to finding out where Cyrus typically volunteers. And I think it's Turning Woods. I'm pretty sure it was Turning Woods, where Lulu was being taken care of, I believe. And she's basically going there to volunteer, but really to keep an eye on Cyrus. I'm sitting here watching this like, Joss, can't you just let the adults handle this? Like, I know you are one too, even though it was hard to tell by the hairstyle that you had and like the white out nails. I know it was her sister's, by the way, but like, poor girl looked ridiculous. But honestly, if fumbling things up the previous week with Anna wasn't any indication, I hope that when what you're doing inevitably goes wrong, that'll be your clue that maybe you should back off and leave this to some slightly better professionals. I think she's going to be the crutch that lets Cyrus gets away with this for even longer than he already has. Maybe even his next victim. Unless it's Kai, of course. I'm only saying Kai because he's currently in the hospital, but I don't think he's actually in danger. He's got a broken arm and he isn't attached to an IV. So it would be pretty tricky for Cyrus to give Kai a heart attack. But like that's not to say that more people won't fall victim to Cyrus. To be honest, I think it might be Sunny because Sunny's already having heart problems. If he were to die of a heart attack, no one would even know that it was sinister. Because his heart's been like doing all this anyway. But we'll talk about Sunny's heart later. So, I guess if I do have a worry with Kai in regards to Cyrus, my worry is that if Portia catches wind of the relationship forming between Trina and Kai, and she's super excited about it, and Cyrus overhears that, then, Cyrus might try to use that to seek revenge on Portia. Take away Trina's happiness because Portia got him banned from the hospital. And I just keep thinking to the look that he gave Portia when she banned him, when the elevator door closed. He looked like he was ready to kill her. So I don't know. Sandy says, with everything happening at the hospital, where's TJ? Good question. We haven't seen him in a minute. Joss is Carly 2.0. Even Carly was smarter than Joss, though. At Jocelyn's age, Carly was smarter. Sorry, I'm catching up on your comments. Lulu needs to pay attention to Rocco. The child is actually attached to her. Yeah, the child that actually loves you. Not the one that's been trying to get away from you her entire life. Laura says, oh, don't let them kill Kai. Trina is finally happy. Can she stay happy for a while? That's how I feel too. I really don't think he's going anywhere though. So I missed a question. Oh yeah. Aaron, you said, wait, I have a question. Does anyone in Michael's family know that he almost died like Sam and Dex thanks to Cyrus? Well, I think they know that he had a heart attack. But I don't think that they know it was like digitalis because it's something that could have happened to Michael anyway. And I think that they're trying to keep things hush-hush, that they're on to a pattern just so they can investigate this further in the hospital. Which is, I don't know how I feel about that. I get it from the hospital standpoint. If there's someone going around killing patients, they need to have it be discreet enough so that the person that's doing the killing doesn't get on to the fact that they're on to him. But it's a slippery slope. Like, why Sam? Yeah, we don't have all the answers as to why he did all the things yet. And I hope that we get them before, the story resolves itself. But I think we're a long time from that anyway. I think this is a story that'll continue probably for several months. Anyway, though, Kai, let's talk about Kai, and we'll move on from the subject of like patients getting killed. Kai had continually been determined and optimistic that he would heal quickly so that he can come back for the next season of football at the PCU. But on Friday, he got news from his doctor that this injury means that he'll likely never play football again. Dang. And I was having so much fun watching people watch football. No, but in all seriousness, though, I laugh because, like, Kai really put his worst fear out into the ether, and it came true in record time. He's like, this happened to my old friend, and he got injured because he waited another year before going to the big leagues, and then he got injured, and now he can't play football anymore. And it literally happened to him the game after that conversation. The very game after that conversation. Oh, man. But but yeah, honestly, I can't say that I'm surprised, because they got to keep this man in town for Trina somehow. They can't, he can't just be a football guy in college forever. But does that mean that he'll go all in with art? Who knows? All I can really say at the moment is I like them. I think that they have good chemistry. And I'm looking forward to what they do next, whatever that is. I do want to see Trina and Kai a bit more as friends and like hanging out and stuff. Because it's clear that they like each other. But I want them to also like, Kai's kind of in a reset for himself, really, because all he's known most of his life is football. And that's what he's been striving for the whole time. Now that's been taken away from him. So he's got to figure out who he is again without football. Or, a miracle could happen and he could magically get better or become like a trainer of sorts or a coach. I don't know, something. But time will tell. They can really go anywhere with this guy. Oh, you think that he's going to work in Ava's new art studio? But didn't that thing not come to fruition because she's got no cash? Like, I totally get that. He could work there, but I don't know. Alright. Kai's not going to be that team celebrity anymore. Yeah, gotta see who he is without all the glam. But yeah, like I said, I like Kai and Trina's chemistry, so I'm really looking forward to wherever they go with the story next. Speaking of chemistry, Rick and Ava's another potential future couple that I've really been enjoying watching ever since they started sharing scenes together. Ava and Rick are both these characters who are kind of shitty people that actually do make admirable efforts to be decent people from time to time, but they always just kind of fall back into their habits. For instance, Ava ran into Christina and Alexis on the pier, and in one instance genuinely said that she's sorry about what happened to Michael, that she wouldn't wish that on anyone. But then in the next moment, she's like, hopefully next time they get their real target, which is Christina's father, Sonny. So, I don't know. She just can't help herself sometimes. And, Christina kind of stormed off. And Alexis basically went up to bat for her daughter. But also really tried to come at Ava from, like, a conversation between a mother and a mother. Like, what would you do if someone was saying what you did to your child? And you could tell that Ava knew that what she was doing was wrong, and she just kind of dipped out of there. So I think Alexis definitely gave her food for thought. And to Alexis's credit, I like that Alexis acknowledged that she does not believe that Ava caused Christina's fall. So, because I think whenever Alexis is around Christina, she's kind of going with Christina's narrative because she's scared to like go against her daughter in any way. But, I'm glad that Alexis clarified what she believes is the truth. But yeah, it still didn't stop Ava from going to Sonny's and stressing him out so much that it gave him a heart attack the second she left the room. More on that later. Ava also found out from Laura herself that Laura would no longer be a character witness since, she and Sonny have bonded again, after undergoing the last writer's change. The one where everyone thought Sonny, or the one where everyone was treating Sonny like the criminal that he actually is, instead of like kissing his ass. But we've gone back to the ass kissing again. But yeah, and after that, Ava kind of took out her frustrations on Rick a little bit. He was just trying to help her put herself in a position to look better in front of a judge. Because right now Ava's been living in a hotel, so he shows her a new but like essentially run down apartment. I liked it. I liked the apartment. I would move in there. It had a great view of the city. A big. It had like a bachelor feel to it and a fireplace. Like it's, I don't know. There's a lot to like about it. But Ava's used to her sort of rich privileges. She's lived in a castle on an island for God's sakes, and metropolitan type vibes. Probably her whole life. But needless to say, when Rick kind of explains why he picked this place, and again, it's because it will look better in front of a judge if she has a place that's not a hotel room for her kid, but also it's in her price range because Ava's having rough money struggles apparently, despite her owning a really successful gallery. But yeah, so it softens Ava and it ends up leading them into a kiss. And their awkwardness after was actually really endearing to watch. I really like their chemistry. I don't know, I just like them. There's so much potential as to where they could go with these two in a relationship. They could either turn each other into really good people, doing their best not to let their worst traits out too often, or they could both just lean into their worst qualities and wreak absolute havoc on Port Charles. Either way, I'm intrigued. I like the vibe between them, and it's cool that these characters are so nuanced that they could take them in one direction or the other. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Allison, you said I liked Rick and Ava, but that was low. Saying that to Christina, I agree. Angel, you said that apartment didn't look bad. Not a fan of Darkwood, but it wasn't bad. Yeah, like I think it looked fine. To me, it looked like it was parts like Molly and TJ's old apartment mixed with like Chase's old apartment and then Finn's, like all kind of smushed together. And that's likely what happened to build the set in the first place. But I don't know, I liked it. Oh yeah, they were about to around Christmas. I forgot about that. All right, back to Sunny though. So, like I said before, this man had another heart attack. He was holding on for dear life, trying not to let Ava see that he was struggling. And the second that she left, he collapses as he was trying to reach for his pills. Thankfully, Maxie had sent Natalia on a mission for deception that involved him, and she finds him on the floor, puts the pill in his mouth, and calls for help. Dr. Isaiah shows up and tells Sunny that he needs to act now and go see the specialist because he could die, and asks Natalia to keep an eye on him and make sure he does what he needs to do. She takes him back to his hotel because obviously that's where he's staying currently. Isn't that the brownstone? I don't know. I don't know, Angel. It seems like a high-rise apartment to me, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so she takes Sunny back to his hotel and promises that she'll take care of him, but leaves for a bit when Brick shows up so that they can have alone time to talk about what happened. Brick also agrees that he needs to see the specialist and nip this in the bud as quickly as possible. Sunny's worried about his enemies catching wind of it. So he, Brick, and Natalia sort of come up with a way to make it seem like they're out. They're going to LA essentially, and to make it look like it's deception business to sort of, I don't know, whoever is watching Sunny to not be too inquisitive and curious about what's going on. But yeah. Also, Sunny was supposed to go to the grand reopening of Charlie's Pub. Obviously, what happened made it so that he couldn't. And he is still trying to keep his heart condition a secret from people. He doesn't want to worry about him. Sorry. All right. So let's talk about Charlie's pub reopening. Because I'm mad about something. I'm annoyed about something. Mad's the wrong word. I'm annoyed. So just before Charlie's pub opened their doors, Christina and her bartender, Lucky Spencer, do a celebratory shot before they open the door. And I'm trying to figure out if the writers just forgot that Lucky is a recovering addict. You know, yeah, he was addicted to pills, but when you're addicted to one kind of sort of crutch, you kind of have to give it all up. And Lucky did for a long time, until what happened with Elizabeth. But then he tried to sober up again. And I don't think that this is like the first time that we've seen him drink since he's been back this time round. But the last time he did, it was because he couldn't save Lulu. And he got drunk and trashed Bobby's. But like, that's a reason to drink and slip, you know? Like, thinking that your sister's gonna die, that's a pretty low blow. That's understandable for someone to fall off the wagon again. But now he's just like, you know, he's in a good position in his life. He's kind of rekindling a something with Elizabeth. And he's got his sister back. He's with his mom again. He's got his son. You know, there's a lot of good going on in his life. And like, yeah, it was just a shot. But it's just like, where is the continuity? So, it's just interesting. Not necessary, I don't think. Well, like, it might not be necessary. I think that there are people that can sort of not get addicted to one thing over the other. But all the same, like, it's just that we've seen Lucky give up booze because of his addiction to pills. So it's just the lack of consistency. But to that end, I still remember, like, when Luke got sober after his family kind of like forced his hand to go to rehab and stuff. And he kept that sobriety up for quite some time. But then one day he just started drinking again, and then nobody really addressed it. They all kind of twinged at it, but they just left it alone. So it was weird. It's weird. Like, are they going that direction with him? They're just like, oh, it's fine. I don't know. And especially, like, Elizabeth, what she had gone through, she didn't see him take the shot. But, like, she's not worried about him working at a bar. She was, you know, front and center through Lucky's addiction, and she was front and center for Finn's. So I feel like this would be on her mind at least a little bit. Maybe she feels like she shouldn't pry because, you know, they really haven't been a part of each other's lives in like 15 years. So, you know, it's maybe she doesn't feel like she has a say, but I feel like she would be guarded given what happened to her the last time. Lucky needs a bath. Ainsley says, I don't know, they had Sasha struggling with the white powder, but she drinks from time to time. However, Alexis and Curtis are in AA. Yeah, like I said, everyone's different, but it's just that, like, it was just the fact that we've seen Lucky go cold turkey in the past. And we've seen him fall off the wagon and become a drunk after that, too. So, I mean, at least, you know, for a couple of days, given what he found out about his wife's affair. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit. So later, once the club is open, Cody comes waltzing in, basically looking to pick a fight, and he picks one with Spinelli of all people. Lucky takes a punch to the face as a result instead of Spinelli, and both Cody and Lucky end up being hauled to jail, even though Lucky was just trying to stop the fight. Cody and Mac ended up having a good conversation with each other, which I actually really enjoy because Mac definitely sees his younger self in Cody, I think. And if you weren't watching back when Mac first came on, you'd barely believe it. But he was definitely a troubled individual with an axe to grind, just like Cody is right now, before he was a part of the PCBD. Now, Mac decides to keep Cody in lockup since Cody was actually willing to. I think Mac really respects Cody's willingness to stay in there to keep himself out of trouble. Hopefully this will be the kick in the pants that Cody needs to smarten up and start appreciating the good things he has going for himself. Because he has a lot. He has a family that loves him. He's got a decent job that he likes. He's got people in his corner. And, Mac even said, like, despite him punching Spinelli, Maxie was still reaching out to him to make sure he was okay. Molly had also spoken to Cody prior to this. Some people saw it as chemistry testing. I was seeing on some forums. I don't really think it was a chem test. More so just a way to give her something to do because we forget that she exists otherwise sometimes. I'm convinced they're going to go all in with Lulu and Cody, if anything. But anyways, back to Charlie's. Lucy also shows up with Sidwell, and some people saw him there, including Jordan, who recognized his name. And it's funny because, like, I hadn't even thought about the fact that he's been using his real name here. And that is, like, kind of, like, something that's strange. It was like, well, they're going to know who he is. I mean, if Lucky or Anna or Jason seen him in public, they'd know who he is. But he could have been, like, having an alias, sorry. So that was interesting. But then, anyway, basically, Jordan goes over to Laura right away to tell her that Sidwell is in town. He's using the same name. He's living at Windermere. Just gives her the big heads up. And so basically, Laura and Anna look into it further. And I guess there's no real evidence tying him to Sasha's kidnapping. So he's not wanted on that sense. And they didn't open up an investigation on it too much. Because whatever happened was over, and they probably just wanted to dust it under the carpet and just move on. But I don't know. Like, it's not only that, but he doesn't seem to be a person of interest on, like, bigger agencies either anymore. When he was, like, one of the most wanted criminals on the planet. So something's going on there. But yeah, like, it's just weird. But at the same time, I'm like, what? Criminals using money and influence to get away with crimes in 2025? Surely not. But anyway, Anna and Laura, they confronted Sidwell the next day, and they basically say to watch his back. Anna thinks that he might have been the one to blow up Sonny's place. I suppose it's possible. He may have figured out that at some point Holly hid the jewels with Sonny. So maybe that was his sort of revenge on Sonny from keeping something away from him. It's totally plausible. But I guess time will tell when they meet. Anna says the PCPD is a joke. Sidwell didn't feel threatened. But yeah, it's interesting the route that they're kind of going with that for him. I don't know. I still see Sidwell as cartoony, so he's not a villain I am able to take seriously in my mind. Like, he's not a scary person. He seems truly ridiculous. He obviously is very eccentric by how excited he was for Windermere to be his new domain. Quirky, I think. Was it Christina that put it that way? I think so. But yeah. Sidwell had tried to even, like, invite Alexis over to the island, but she was just like, nah, I'm good. Oh, man. But yeah. That's essentially all the sort of major beats and storylines that happened this week. The one thing that I was going to put at my notes at the start of the live stream was about Brick and Jordan and Isaiah. And it's weird, like, they're trying to play it off as like a triangle almost, as in, like, Jordan still sees qualities in Brick that she's interested in. And I'm like, just stop. Just stop. This man is a glorified guest star who they're only really putting on the show to do things because he's a fan of the show. Like, no disrespect to Stephen A. Smith. Like, he's not like a bad actor or anything, but like, you're not on there permanently trying to sell Jordan and Brick and Isaiah as a triangle where, you know, Jordan's going to struggle to pick one. Come on. The shady guy that works in the mob or the doctor that's hotter than hell, who's also really sweet and loving. It seems like a no-brainer to me, but whatever. It seems like not a even there's no choice there. And also just from like someone that just knows that he's not really like on the show, there's no point in putting a triangle together when we know that one of them is not committed full time to the show. He's got a whole other career going on in his life. Nathan says, seriously, it feels so forced when it comes to Brick and Jordan. Truly, it really does. It's crazy. Brick jealous of Isaiah and Jordan. Yeah, I mean, like, he should be. Look at him. Look at Isaiah. I would be scared. I would already be cutting my losses if I looked at him and I was like, damn. Well, it's been a slice. I'm out. Like, that would be me in that situation. Bail out gracefully. Oh, man. But yeah, it was a decent week. It's 2025 is looking better than 2024 does. I just hope that the follow through on the storylines is better than what they were last year. I mean, they had a lot to contend with last year too. There was, multiple writing regime switches that probably messed up a lot of the story time and a lot of the sort of plans for each story, however they all started out. And a lot of doing and undoing character swaps and all this stuff that they had to contend with last year. And it made 2024 a hot mess as a result. And maybe they did what they could with in that sense. But hopefully in 2025, now that we're far enough away from like previous stories and we've started a lot of new ones, that we can sort of, work into finding something that seems coherent. More coherent than it was last time. And not like a push back and forth and like constant disagreements on where a story should go. Angel says, Jordan is beautiful. She should have more men fawning all over her. I agree. I feel like Drew kind of was for a minute too, but she dodged a bullet in that sense, I think. Oh, man. But yeah, that is all, folks. There will be a live stream this Wednesday. It'll be a classic scene. I think I'm just kind of going in like the first suggestion, which was something pertaining to Phil Brewer's murder. So this is like old school GH, like before Glory Days GH, like 1974. And like we're really just gonna watch like a classic episode from that time. It's not necessarily the actual murder because that doesn't exist on YouTube, but it does have part of that story. But yeah, that's what we'll be doing Wednesday. So if you want to watch a classic episode of GH where we probably don't know the majority of the characters, I think we will see like Audrey and Leslie, probably Dr. Hardy. I tried not to watch it. I just like did my best to track down an episode that had to do with Phil's murder or had scenes pertaining to it. But I am intrigued because it's it's again when GH was hadn't found its sort of vibe that made it into the show that it became in the 80s. Who is Phil Brewer? Phil Brewer was one of the very first characters on GH. The only thing that you probably would have seen of Phil Brewer was when GH went back in time for either the 51st or 52nd anniversary of the show. And we seen Luke's past when he was a child. Lucas played Phil Brewer, or the actor that used to play Lucas played Phil Brewer in those flashback scenes where Elizabeth played his wife, I think, and Jesse, and then Patrick Drake played Dr. Hardy. So we're seeing his murder storyline, at least an episode that has to do with it. And hey, Jakarius, we're just about to end. I'm sorry, but good to see you. But yeah, Phil Brewer, it'll be involving him, and I don't know. Yeah, he was one of the first doctors on the first episode of GH, on the first episode of GH actually, because the scenes that Rebecca Hurst and Ryan Carnes and Jason Thompson were recreating were the very first scenes from General Hospital. And those three characters were the first that we seen. But, yeah, the only thing I really know about Phil Brewer is that he was not a good man. He was an abuser. He abused Jesse. He was essentially slime. And while I don't know the ins and outs of the murder story, I'm sure he probably deserved it. Like, honestly. But like I said, I know very little about the characters, but I also just love watching like black and white and like old films and old TV shows. So if y'all want to chill with me on Wednesday and watch a very old episode of GH that we have almost no context of, join me on Wednesday. And if not, I'll see you Sunday. Oh, man. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning into the live stream, you guys. I'm going to end it right here. And if you liked this live stream, do me a favor. Give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys either Wednesday or Sunday. But yeah, have a good week, y'all. Stay safe. Have all the good thoughts. Enjoy the nice weather if you have it. It's above zero here finally, after like weeks of like minus 20. So I'm gonna enjoy it as much as I can. All right, have a good night, y'all. See you. Mwah.